It beats my imagination how a group of people who actually earn over $700 an hour succeeded and convinced a bunch of people that make less than $25 an hour that they are going to fight for their interests. That shit beats my imagination every time I think about it. Hey folks, thank you for tuning in and welcome back once again to This World, My Take, your go-to space for the breaking down of headlines in a real manner. I hope you guys are doing good. And now folks, today I want us to talk about the congressional ban on stock trading. But before we do that, I would like you to please think about supporting the platform. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and turn on your notification so that whenever I drop something, you will be the first to get notified. Thank you in advance and God bless you. So folks, a couple of hours ago, we've seen this story break online of the Democrats, one Republican GOP member, voting and pushing a bill that would actually ban stock trading for members of Congress. Now, you would think that this is supposed to be a beautiful thing. You would think that the whole of America, bipartisan, be it Republican, be it Democrat, should be happy because this is definitely a move, a push towards a good direction. But we all know that sometimes when you stand for the truth, it really doesn't matter if you are from the Democratic Party or you are from the Republican Party, you will be frowned upon and you will be hated. Now, I want us to talk about Republican Senator Hawley, who joined Democrats to advance a congressional ban on stock trading. Folks, if you do not know, members of Congress have been making money. They have been making millions and millions of dollars off stock trading, like personal stock trading. Sometimes I always ask myself, when people talk about politicians being corrupt around the world, American politicians for sure are one of the most corrupt in the world. Do not take my word for it. I will tell you in all honesty, if you've frowned and read stories about this country, the politicians are dirty, so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, American politicians are no good either. They are not angels. For the past couple of years, man, members of Congress have been getting private updates on the stock exchange and the stock market. And some of these guys have been busy buying and trading stocks, making them rich. Sometimes their family members, their spouses are involved in all this whole mess. And you would think that this is just from one party. No, folks, Democrats and Republicans are actively doing this. And the fact that these folks somehow they succeeded in convincing their supporters that they are coming to the Capitol Hill to fight for their well-being, whereas they keep getting this preview updates on what is about to go down and they vote on it and they make money. Now, this GOP member, Senator Hawley, he made a speech which I think that is worth listening to. This is what he said.
Let me just say that we have an opportunity here today to do something that the public has wanted us to do for decades, and that is to ban members of Congress from profiting on information that, frankly, only members of Congress have in the buying and selling of stock. 86% of Americans say that members of Congress should not be able to buy and sell shares of stock, individual stock, while they are members of this body, and they are absolutely correct. And the reason is, you can see it, there was just another ethics referral in the House last week. We've seen the former Speaker of the House make millions of dollars in profits. We've seen members of both parties, I'm sad to say, be investigated for their stock trades. And the reason for all of this is that, quite frankly, members of this body are privy to information that the normal person just is not. Now, is that insider trading? It is not under the laws. Sometimes people say, well, we already have insider trading laws. We don't need a stock ban. Well, the information that members of Congress are privy to is technically not covered by the insider trading laws, but nobody really believes that the information that we get isn't valuable. It is quite valuable, which is why back during COVID, you saw members of Congress of both parties engage in a flurry of stock trading right after they were getting COVID briefings. Were members of the public getting those briefings? They were not. Were members of the public privy to the kind of information that was being given to members of Congress? No, they were not. And so when you look at what members of Congress are privy to, what they are able to trade on, the access that they have, it's just qualitatively different than your average Joe or Jane, which is why we ought to put into place common sense guardrails that say, if you want to be a member of Congress, you can put you want to save, great. You can buy mutual funds, you can buy broadly diversified investment vehicles. You should not be able to buy and trade individual stock shares in which, frankly, we have an interest in the work that we do. We have information that no other people get, no other members of the public have. This bill would finally redress that.
Now, folks, I know some of our MAGA friends would be like, why are we talking about this, so on and so forth. And I know that I've seen a whole lot of MAGA people supporting some of these, members of Congress whenever there's a situation. And I keep laughing deep inside my heart because I feel deeply sorry for some of these MAGA trolls who go online to try to cancel people for always speaking the truth. This man said nothing but the gospel truth. And this is how members of Congress have been making money. Both Democrats and the Republicans, they have been enriching themselves at the detriment of the poor American people. And folks, let me just say this. Every person in the MAGA base is actually not that smart to understand that certain things are going on behind the back. And what Senator Hawley did say, let me just say this man is not an angel. We all saw what he did with the fist pumping after the J6 situation. I'm not saying that I support this man's policies and everything, but on this one, I would say this, let's agree to disagree. This man was skipping it 100 and he was telling the people the truth. But of course, when you stand for the truth, when you speak the truth, and you are from the Republican Party, of course, you will be frowned at. You will be attacked by who? The court leader. Yes, Donald J. Trump. Immediately, this news came out that Josh Hawley was actually joining the Democrats to advance a congressional ban on stock trading. This man wasted no time to hit at Josh Hawley. This man went straight and just with his normal tweets and his spokesman. This is what this man said. Why would one Republican, Senator Josh Hawley from the great state of Missouri, join with all the Democrats to block a review sponsored by Senator Rick Scott? And with the support of almost all other Republicans. Now, Rick Scott, I want you to pay attention. Rick Scott is another case, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that Mr. Rick Scott is not that angel-like of a person when we think about this whole thing that they are pushing to be reviewed. As a matter of fact, this is what Mr. Rick Scott had to say based on what this congressional bill was going to be, this ban on stock trading. This is what he said.
So this idea that we're going to attack people because they make money is wrong. Is absolutely wrong. We should cherish all of our different backgrounds. Every one of us has a different background. I've got a business background. But what I was just accused of is making money, and somehow I can't be fair and do things the right way. I don't know how many people in the audience, how many of you don't want to make money? Anybody want to be poor? I don't.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, there's no doubt that Rick Scott would actually frown against what Mr. Josh Hawley from the great state of Missouri is trying to do. Because if you remember, this was the man who was fined over $1.7 billion for defrauding Medicaid. Yes, Medicaid that was cut off by who? Your court leader. And when I see these MAGA base supporting these things, I keep asking myself, do these people know that members of Congress get privy to certain information which makes them rich for life, their first and the second and third generations? It's crazy. You don't believe me? If you've not watched what happened to Rick Scott and the whole reason why Mr. Rick Scott said he doesn't want to be poor, this is what.
Senator Rick Scott is one of the richest members of Congress, in part after making an absolute fortune as the CEO of a healthcare company that was accused of defrauding Medicare and fined over $1 billion. What was at the time the largest healthcare fraud settlement in U.S. history.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when the fraudster gets into Congress, they will do everything to protect their wealth. Yes, this man said he doesn't want to get poor. He doesn't want to leave poor. But the base, the MAGA base, there are people in MAGA base that are so poor, they cannot even afford medical bills. Let's keep it 100. There are people in MAGA base, they don't even know how they will pay for their children's college tuition. But they keep supporting these guys who go into Congress and make all the money in the background while these folks just languish in poverty. Now let me continue reading what Donald Trump said being mad at Josh Hawley. And he goes on to say, with all the support of almost all other Republicans of Nancy Pelosi stock trading over the last 25 years. We know that both members of Congress, Republican, Democrats, they've been doing this. The information was inappropriately released just minutes before the vote, very much like sabotage. The Democrats, because of our tremendous achievements and success, have been trying to target me for a long period of time. Always turns to mix things about him. Pathetic. And they are using Josh Hawley, who I got elected twice, as a pawn to help them. I wonder why Hawley would pass a bill that Nancy Pelosi is in absolute love with. He is playing right into the dirty hands of the Democrats. It's a great bill for her and her husband, but so bad for our country. I don't think real Republicans want to see their president, who has had unprecedented success, targeted because of the whims of a second-tier senator named Josh Hawley. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. This man always tries to turn things and make it about himself. But I will ask you, let me know exactly what you think, if this is appropriate or this is just dumbness. This world is complicated. We will keep talking about it.